Let's smoke up some delicious beef ribs. This is one of my favorite cuts of beef to barbecue. It's pretty easy, super forgiving, and great for beginners. This is a rack of beef plate ribs, also known as short ribs. You can get these at the butcher shop. Just ask for the full rack and start by trimming off the top layer of fat to expose that beautiful meat. Main part here is to remove that silver skin, that thick white piece that you can see me pulling off right there. Again, that's super tough, won't render down. Once the meat is exposed, you can see how nice it is, super well marbled. It's gonna stay nice and juicy and come out super tender when fully cooked. I'm gonna hit it with a little hot sauce for the binder, starting on the bone side. I love that membrane iron, by the way. You don't have to pull that off. It's gonna help this rack stay in shape and not fall apart. Now I'm gonna season it pretty heavily with Hardcore Carnivore Black. You can use any beef rub here. This is one of my favorite ones. It creates a great bark, has a great flavor. Salt, pepper, garlic, it's delicious. Flip it over, repeat the process on the meat side now. Again, a little hot sauce for the binder and hit it pretty heavy with your beef seasoning. Make sure you use plenty of it. This is a lot of meat to cook through. It's super fatty. A lot of that seasoning is going to cook out, so just use plenty of it, making sure it's well coated on all sides and the top. After it's seasoned, it hits the big green egg, indirect heat 275 degrees, and I'm going to spritz it with apple cider vinegar every hour to hour and a half to keep that outside nice and moist. And I'm going to cook it until it's nice and probe tender. Internal temperature is going to be anywhere from 205 to 215 internal, but just make sure it is very tender before you pull it off. Pull it off when it's done, and now I'm gonna lay it down on some pink butcher paper. Check how soft that thing is. It is smelling absolutely amazing. Great bark on the outside. Give it another spray of that apple cider vinegar, and I'll wrap it super tight in pink butcher paper. You can use aluminum foil. The butcher paper is gonna help that bark stay nice and intact and still allow it to breathe. Let this rest in your room temperature cooler or in your oven that's turned off for about an hour to 2 hours to let that meat get nice and soft. And check this thing out. It is looking and smelling absolutely amazing. After that rest period, those bones are looking perfect. Now the last thing to do is to just slice right into it and see how we did. And check this thing out. It is smelling absolutely amazing. Get the strong beefy flavor, that great bark on the outside. As you can see, it is super soft, pillowy, buttery, tender. The meat just pulls right apart that bone. Cut it up into your bite-sized pieces, and this is ready to go. Be sure to give this recipe a try. This is one of my favorite things to make. Super easy, very forgiving. Total cook time is between 6 and 8 hours, so it cooks faster than a